MRP problems start with a lot of information, and Williston Technologies is no exception. Let's take a look. Williston Technologies wishes to use MRP methodology to develop a plan for the next 9 weeks. Williston has gathered the following information. Oh, it's even labeled. A bill of materials. Okay, it looks like an A is assembled from a B and a C, and a B happens to be assembled from a D. Got it. Current inventory records. Alright, so this is how much they have on hand right now of what, and if there's any particular lead time or lot sizing issues, and a master production schedule. What is it that they actually want to do? Oh, and look at that! Actually, with this particular problem, we're already down to the question. Using MRP methodology, how much of parts A, B, and C should be ordered and when should they be ordered? We have to set up the MRP problem. Oh, because that question, oh, right there, how much should be ordered and when should it be ordered? That's asking for, and we could even note this, that's another way of asking for their planned order releases. Because the planned order releases in an MRP plan is how much you should order and when you should order it of each of the parts. Okay, fine. So how are we going to find them? Well, first off, for the bill of materials, we need one record for each item on the bill of materials. So if you've downloaded these note frames that I'm working with, there is a handy page of empty MRP tables all ready to go. If you don't have this, then you just have to sketch it, because the first part of an MRP problem is just getting set up, just entering all the data that you have into your MRP records. We'd better begin. First, I need one record for every item in the bill of materials. So, well, that's pretty easy. I'm just going to label the 4 blank records that I have with the note frame. Then, wait a minute. What information do I have? Okay, I've set one record up for each one of these. And then it says lead time. Oh, and the lead time varies for each one of the parts, and that goes here. The lead time for part A is 1 week. The lead time for part B is 2 weeks. The lead time for part C is 2 weeks as well. And the lead time for part D is 3 weeks, correct? Okay, then I've taken care of that. I've got that all entered. Lot size. Ah, there's different lot sizing policies for each of the 4, and that goes right here. Let's make a little note that the lot sizing policy for the finished good A is lot for lot. Whatever we want, that's what we can have. But for part B, it is 50. We need to make it up in batches of 50. For C, it is 25. And for D, again, it is lot for lot. There we go. That's taken care of. We're finished with this when we have found a home for all of this information. Now I'm looking at the inventory current on hand. Oh, and there's different amounts for each of the parts. Yep. Where does that go? That goes in that one strange box on the available balance line that is to the left of the planning horizon here. Okay, it says that there's 100 of these currently on hand, so I put a 100 there. It says that there's 150 of part B currently on hand, so I'll put that here. For part C, it says that there are 50, and for part D, it says there's 150 as well. All right, I enter that information. That means that that information is essentially used. What else? What other numbers was I given? Oh, here we go. The master production schedule. We have to remember, and this sort of gets us started with the rest of the problem, any item mentioned on the master production schedule. Well, it's just part A. Fine. Any item mentioned on the master production schedule, those numbers should be entered into the gross requirements line of that item's record. The gross requirements line is always the top line of the record. Oh, okay. So that means I need to take this string of numbers and find the gross requirements line for part A, gross requirements top line, and just copy those numbers over. 50, 0, 50, 200, 0, 0, 100, 0, and 100. Okay. There. All those numbers are taken care of. And at the point that I have found a home, so to speak, I've organized in all of the information that I was given from the start of the problem, then I'm ready to go on to the next phase of material requirements planning. Because, okay, we're done with this, right? Away it goes. What's the next step? The next step is calculate the planned order releases for all level 0 items. Okay. All level 0 items. Level 0 is the top level, and from what I recall, there's only part A, the finished good, on the top level. Yes, calculate the planned order releases for part A, which is to say, or another way to say that, since these are the planned order releases, fill out the record. Fill out the record for part A. Okay. Let's see, I have 100 of these in inventory right now, and we're going to ship out 50 immediately. That's what gross requirements means. They're gone. Okay, that means that will knock ending inventory down to 50, right? 100 minus 50 is 50. Then there's nothing going on in the second week, so I'll still end with that 50 left in inventory. And then the third week, there is a gross requirement for 50, which means another 50 is leaving. Well, I had 50 in inventory, and then I shipped out 50, so I will end the third week with nothing in inventory. All right, so I'm going into the fourth week with nothing in inventory, and I need to ship out 200. Now I'd better get active and schedule to receive. Planned order receipts. I better receive in at 200 because I'm going to turn right around and ship out 200. And that means that by the end of that week, there won't be anything in inventory. And then there's nothing going on in the fifth week, nothing going on the sixth week, ending in inventory. Going into the seventh week, I have nothing in inventory and I need to ship out 100. I have a need for 100. It's lot for lot. Now that I've used up all the on-hand inventory, whatever is in the gross requirements line, I can just copy that down to the planned order receipt line, because lot for lot means is whatever exactly you need, then that's what you can schedule to receive. Now, all right, now, this 200, 100, and 100, this is when I need to receive part A. To finish out this record, when do I need to order it? Well, in order to figure out when I need to order it, I need to take the lead time into account. Ah, right, so to finish out the record, I glance up here, the lead time is 1 week. That means if I need to receive 200 in the fourth week, I had better I had better order 200 in the third week. Likewise, this 100 here, if this is when it needs to arrive, drop down to the bottom line and count over 1. That's when you need to order it. Same thing here. If this is when it needs to arrive, the lead time is 1 week, we had better order it in the 8th week. I have determined how much to order and when to order it for part A. The planned order receipts. Okay, but actually the scenario commissioned us to figure out how much to order and when for all of them, so we better keep going. Okay, so the next step in MRP, now that we have found the planned order releases on level 0, which is to say now we filled out the record on level 0, is pass the planned order releases of any parents on that level. Well, there's just one item, yes, okay. Pass the planned order releases of that one item down to the gross requirements line of any child items. The planned order releases of the parents on level 0 are passed down to the gross requirements line of the children on the next level. You go, whoa, 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 parent, children, who's the parent, who's the child? Well, this part's been filled out. So now we need to take care of the supply, trace the branches down. B and C are the child items of A. All right. Because I'm going to order 200 of part A in the third week. See that here? That means that 200 of B and 200 of C need to be ready to go. That's why they're entered into the gross requirements line in that week. Same thing with this order for 100 here. 100 of B, and 100 of C. They are the child items of A, need to be ready to go, ready to be consumed that week. And the same thing here, 100 and 100. Okay, so we have passed the planned order releases of all the parents, there only was one, A, down to all the children, that was just B and C. Oh, multiplied by the number of child item required to assemble the parent. Well, in this case, it's all 1 to 1, right? Okay, now what? Now fill out all the records on the next level. We'll fill out all the records on the next level. I think it is only B and C that are on that level. Okay, fill out the records for B and C. That's the next step. Fill out the records for B and C. Let's see. There's 150 in B in stock, and nothing's going on for the first 2 weeks for B. So we have this 150 in stock going into the third week, where we're going to need to consume 200. Oh, all right, so we're what, 50 short? Check the lot size. Oh, perfect. They come in boxes of 50. So we will just plan to receive another box, that 50. Now, that does clear out inventory. Inventory is now down to 0, and then there's nothing going on for 2 weeks. That does mean also that we have nothing going into the 6th week when we're going to need to ship out to 200 to support this production of A up here. They come in boxes of 50, that's perfect. We'll just order up another 2 boxes or a 100, but that means we have nothing in inventory, and that will work also here. We'll just schedule to receive that amount. Perfect. Okay, now wait a minute. This is when we want to receive B. When should we order it? To finish out the record, check the lead time. 2 weeks. Okay, this order here for 50. If we want to receive it in the 3rd week, drop down to the bottom line and count. 1, 2. Note to self, need to order it in the 1st week so it arrives in time. Same thing here. 100. Drop down to the bottom line. 1, 2. We need to order 100 in the 4th week, and the same thing here. 100. Need it in the 8th week. 1, 2. Better order it in the 6th week. So there is the whole point of MRP, how much to order and when to order it for Part B. That's one of the records. Let's fill out the other one now. Part C, not very much in inventory, just 50. So we'll carry that 50 for 2 weeks. Then we're going to need 200 in the 3rd week, so we're 150 short. Check the lot size, 25. Perfect. Nice multiple of 150, so we will arrange for that 150. Then we have nothing in inventory for a while. We're going to need 100 in the 6th week. The lot size is 25. That's a multiple of 25, so no problem. You could picture it as coming in boxes of 25. And the same thing here. We need 100. Fine. Order 4 boxes. Order 100. And thus we don't have anything in inventory at the end of the planning horizon. This is when we need to receive it to finish the record. Look at the lead time, 2 weeks. 150, 1, 2, needs to be ordered in the 1st week. This 100 in the 6th week, 1, 2, needs to be ordered in the 4th week. And this 100 in the 8th week, 1, 2, needs to be ordered in the 6th week in order to arrive on time. There we have it, how much to order and when for Part C. And then Part D, no, well, wait a minute. What have we done? We've just filled out all the records on the next level, level 1. Now, not Williston Technologies in particular, but any MRP problem, what's the next step? You keep repeating this process. Now that you've filled out some records on some certain level, pass the bottom line of the parent down to the top line of the child's record. Look at each of the records that you filled out and ask who are their children, and pass the bottom line of the parent down to the top line of the child's record. So, to go back to the picture, we filled this out, B. Who's its child? D. The bottom line of B gets passed into the top line of the record for D. C doesn't have any children. So the only thing that we need to do here is exactly that. Here's the bottom line of B, right? This 50 is passed into the top line of the child record, D. This 100 down to here. This 100 down to here. And that's it. Okay. Once that process is done, where the bottom line of the parent has been passed down to the top line of all child records, of which there's only one at this point for Part D, then what do? Fill out all the records on the next level, which is to say for this problem there's only one last record to fill out. Oh, okay. So for D, let's see, we have 150 in stock, and that's good because we need 50 immediately. That's what we just found out. That's going to knock inventory down to 100. All right. We'll carry that 100 for a while. We'll carry that 100 until essentially we use it up in the 4th week. That knocks inventory down to nothing. We have nothing going into the 6th week, and we know we need 100, so we'd better schedule to receive 100. It's lot for lot, no problem. We end with nothing in inventory. So we only need to receive this 100 in the 6th week to finish this record. Check the lead time, 3. Drop down to the bottom line, 1, 2, 3. Note to self, need to order 100 of Part D in the 3rd week. There, now we have a plan. Now we have a plan, although what we have here is just the completed records. We'd better actually address, remember the original question, the reason that we started doing this? Because it says using MRP methodology, that's what we were just doing just now, how much of parts A, B, and C, A, B, C, and D, let's see, it's just basically tallying, it's what I highlighted here. For instance, with A, I'd make a note, well, part A, what did we find out? Order 200 in week 3. 100 in week 6, and 100 in week 8. Okay, that's the plan for Part A. For Part B, I'm just reading the planned order releases off. For Part B, order 50, not very many, in week 1. Okay, so that's kind of important because that's basically immediately 100 in week 4 and 100 in week 6. Okay, then for Part C, again, the only thing I'm doing here is just reporting the planned order releases. For Part C, order 150 immediately. 150 in week 1, 100 in week 4, and 100 in week 6, very similar to Part B. And then for Part D, there's just that one order. Order 100 in week 3. There, those are the planned order releases. The only thing that I was doing was I was just noting all the orders of interest that was on the bottom line of each record. Phew. All right, Part A of this problem is done. What are the other questions associated with Williston Technology? Let's look. Based on the material requirements plan developed for Williston Technology, how much of parts A, B, C, D will remain in inventory at the end of week 9? Oh, that's easy to answer. That's not going to take much time because that, the only thing we need to do is to know where to find that. And I am seeing that there will be exactly nothing in inventory for any of those parts. Well, okay, that didn't take very long. All right, but wait a minute. What else is being asked here? Williston Technology has just learned that an order for 200 A's appearing in week 4 has been canceled. Ah, this is a pest. MRP nervousness. 200 A's in week 4, canceled. How does this change the plan? Okay, well, first off, we could look and see how it changes the original data that we were working with. What that last question part is saying is that, yeah, see, cross through. That 200 is no longer there. Now, wait a minute. If that 200 is no longer there, you know what the best thing to do is? The best thing to do, and that's why there's actually 2 sheets of blank records with this note frame, is just do the thing, just do the whole plan over again. The easiest thing to do, instead of trying to back out that 200 from our original plan here, is to just do the whole problem over again. Oh, okay, now wait a minute. It's not going to take that much more time because first off, we're pretty familiar with it. We know that, and it's a good opportunity to practice the steps. The first thing we do is get set up. Fresh sheet. It's the same data, so what, 1, 2, 2, 3 is the lead time. It was lot for lot here, and it was lot for lot at the bottom. And let's see, B has a lot size of 50, and C has a lot size of 25. That's all the same information. That hasn't changed. A started with a balance of 100, B with 150, C with 50, and D with 150. See, none of that changed. Matter of fact, the only thing here that has changed is we were just looking at it, the master production schedule. Oh, right, which means that in this setup phase, the only thing that's going to be different is when I copy in the lines, copy in the numbers from the master production schedule into the gross requirements line of Part A's record. I'm not going to include that original 200. That's the only difference in the setup. Oh, all right. Now, let me get the other numbers. This was 50, then nothing, then from the master production schedule, 50 again. Now, it used to be there was a 200 here. No 200 now. That got canceled. And then there never was anything in the 5th or the 6th week. Then we have that same old 100, then 0, then 100. That is the only difference right there. Oh, right. Now what the question asked is what are your changes to how much you're going to order and when you're going to order it of all of these things? The fastest way to determine that is, now that we've copied this over again, is just fill it out again. Just fill it out again. All right, I need a pen. Let's see. We have 100 of A in stock. We're going to use up 50 immediately. That's going to leave us with 50. Then that means we'll have 50 through the 2nd week because nothing's going on in the 2nd week. And then we'll use up that 50 in the 3rd week. 50 minus 50 is 0. And then there's nothing going on now through the whole middle part of the schedule. We will have 0 going into the 7th week. We need 100. We're going to ship out 100. Therefore, we had better plan to receive 100 in the 7th week. Still won't have anything in inventory though, because that would meet that just exactly. Nothing going on in the 8th week, and so carrying nothing into the 9th week, we need another 100. We'd better schedule to receive 100. There we go. And we'll still end with nothing. Oh, okay, so in this case, we need to receive 100 in the 7th week and 100 in the 9th week. The lead time is 1 week, therefore scheduled to receive 100 in the, order 100 in the 6th week and 100 in the 8th week. There, the first record is done. Now, A is the parent of B and C. Pass the bottom line of the parent down to the top line of the child's record. Multiply by the number of children required to assemble one parent, which is all 1 to 1 here. So this 100 and 100 goes here and here. Okay, at the point that we've done that, yes, we've done that for all parent-child relationships, then fill in the records on the next level. Okay, so with B, there's now nothing going on. We're carrying this 150 in stock for the whole first half of the horizon, of which then we do need 100 in the 6th week. We're going to use it up. that will knock on-hand inventory down to 50. So we'll carry that 50 into the 8th week where we do need 100. So we're lacking 50. The lot size is 50. That's nice. So we'll receive another 50. That will bring on-hand inventory down to 0. Now wait a minute, this 50, this is when we need to receive it. Check the lead time. 1, 2, order 50 in the 6th week. So it arrives right when it's needed. There we go. Part C, there's 50 in stock, and similar to B, there's just not a lot going on for the first 5 weeks. Oh, all right, so we have 50. Going into the 6th week, we need 100. We lack 50, right? The lot size is 25, so no problem. 2 lots of 25. We'll plan to receive 50. That's going to clear out inventory. There's no inventory. Then there's no inventory going into the 8th week when we need to use up 100. All right, so we had better plan to receive 100, or that's not going to happen. Meaning that, again, we've cleared out inventory. We're not carrying any inventory. So we've got 2 orders here. Check the lead time. This 50, 1, 2, needs to be ordered in the 4th week. And this 100, 1, 2, needs to be ordered in the 6th week. There, we've finished that record. And then let's see, C is the parent of D. So this 50 and this 100, the bottom line of the parent goes into the top line of the child's record. Oh, okay, then we're all ready to fill out the child's record. We have 150. Oh wait, you know, we have 150 of D in stock. I mean, just for completeness, I'll fill this in, but I'm not seeing where we need D, because we'll use the first 50 in the 4th week. That'll knock it down to 100, and you see that, then we'll use that in the 6th week, which does knock inventory down to nothing, but there isn't any reason to place an order. Oh, all right, so this is, you know, I could highlight that, but it's no orders here. This is the revised plan based on that initial order for 200 A's in the 4th week being canceled. Now, the question was kind of like asking for some reporting, which we could do. We've got the answer here. But how does this change the material requirements plan? Well, it cancels a lot of orders. But now, only order, what is it? 100 A's in the week 6. That's a little awkward. 6th week and 8th week. This is another way to report it. Order 100 A's in week 6 and in week 8. Then what? Let's see, for B's, order 50 B's in week 6, and only order 50 B's in week 6. Order 50 C's in week 4. I'm just reading our new planned order releases. And 100 in week 6. Don't order any D's. There, that's a good enough summary of the planned order releases. So, how did the cancellation of just that one order for 200 A's affect our plans for how much to order and when to order of parts A, B, C, and D? You can see that it canceled several orders. It changed the size of several other orders. We wound up not even ordering Part D, all from the cancellation or the scrubbing out of one little number in the master production schedule. This is something that MRP is known for. This is a good example of MRP nervousness. We had to do this twice because when you change one little piece of information in the starting data for this particular technique, it is likely to completely transform the answer.